Irish luck or Springbok success. The first meeting between these two sides at Rugby World Cup. You're watching this live broadcast on One World Sports Radio. Hi, everybody. My name is David Midgley, and alongside me for this encounter, as is often the case, or to Ozmaster Simon. Number one versus number two, a clash of titans. Or two, how are you feeling ahead of this game? Good evening.
Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, listening to this rugby test match between South Africa and Ireland with us. I'm feeling slightly apprehensive, nervous as usual, but having a look at uh, the team sheets, I think we can do this. I think the Springboks might just be able to pull this one through, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be a very tough match. Conditions look good. There's no rain predicted, very little wind there in Saint-Denis. So let's hope for a cracking test match. This is going to be, like you say, battle of the absolute titans. And apart from the first match between France and New Zealand, this one is definitely a pool match that everybody would have been looking forward to. Two
Yeah,
very,
absolutely.
very tough teams.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you can join us for every moment of the Springboks journey at Rugby World Cup 2023 as they hope to look to retain the Webb Ellis Trophy. Like and subscribe on our YouTube so that you know exactly when we go live. Ding the bell and select all notifications so that you are part of our team. If you want to commentate with us, admin at 1wsr.com. If you want to assist us, whether it be by subscribing, liking, or commenting down below, you please do that. But also, you're able to support us on patreon.com/oneworldsr. It is an absolute privilege to bring you these games. And please feel free to comment. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We're all there for all of it. And you are our third voice in commentary. It's a game or two that promises to set up the rest of the World Cup with whoever comes out trumps in this game, most likely going to play New Zealand. Early indications showing that in the quarterfinals, there's a lot of pressure on both sides to perform in this game. And we'll run through the squads in a moment. But this is the home of French rugby, the Stade de France in Saint-Denis, a neighborhood north of central Paris. And so South Africa's record here is much better than it has been against Ireland. Last 5 games have been 3-2 to the Irish, but you've got to go all the way back to 2016 when last these two sides found themselves playing a series in which more than one test match was shown, in which South Africa won that one 2-1. Or two, let's have a look at that Springbok side, and maybe you can run through it for us.
I will do that. So, starting with the forwards, the front row there, starting off with Steven Kitsoff at number 1. He plays for Ulster, 78 caps for him in his career so far. Bongi Mbenambi at number 2 for the Sharks. From the Sharks there, 64 caps for him. Frans Malherbe from the DHL Stormers with 65 caps. That's your front row. The locks, Ben Etzebeth at number 4, Franco Mostert at number 5. 114 caps for Etzebeth and 68 for Mostert. Siya Kolisi, the captain, at number 6. And number 7, Pieter-Steph de Tooy, 78 and 72 caps respectively. And with 24 caps, Jasper Wiese is at number 8. Then moving on to the back line, number 9, Faf de Klerk, is joined by Manie Libbok, with the two centers being Damien de Allende and Jesse Kriel. The two wings, left wing Cheslin Colby and the right wing Kurtley Arendse. And Damian Willemse makes up the 833 starting caps for the Springboks. And that's 349 more caps than last week against Romania.
Yes, certainly an injection of experience to the South African starting 15. It's 14 of the 15 that took on Scotland in their opening game. And remember that you can also check out our Crashball podcast on the One World Sports Radio YouTube channel. We bring it to you every single week. Some great insight there, if we do say so ourselves. So Ireland, Andrew Porter, Ronan Kelleher, and Tadhg Furlong are your front three. Tyke Byrne and James Ryan are your lock pairing. Munster, Leinster, the first five are all with Leinster except for Tyke Byrne, who plays with Erge Snyman and John Klein at Munster. Peter O'Mahony and Josh van der Fleer, last year's World Rugby Player of the Year, Josh van der Fleer, are your flankers. Caelan Doris packs down at number 8. Jameson Gibson Park earns his 28th cap today, partnering the experienced Johnny Sexton at half back. James Lowe and Mac Hansen are your men out wide, with Bondi Aki and Gary Ringrose, your centre pairing, particularly riotous entry into Rugby World Cup for Bondi Aki's dominated both Romania, dominated for Ireland, both Romania and the less stressed Tongan side. So it'll be an interesting appearance to see how it goes. Hugo Keenan, the final man in that side. 752 caps for Ireland, and South Africa going with a very different bench to Ireland. And I'll just jump in with the Irish. 5-3 is how they've gone on the bench for Ireland. No loose forward. Dave Sheehan, David Danchian, David and Dylan are your replacement front three. Ian Henderson, who plays out in Ulster, is joined as well by Ryan Baird. And then your backs, Conor Murray, Jack Crowley, and Robbie Henshaw. Plenty of experience on that bench. I look at Conor Murray, who earns his 121st cap today. But also, I mean, you look at that Springbok side, they came with not only the bomb squad, but the nuke bomb squad. I think you're muted, my friend.
Oops. Sorry about that.
Want to run through the
number 16 replacement hooker is Dion Fourie. Oxenchair and Trevor Nyakane are the replacement props. And then you've got John Klein and Erge Snyman as replacement blocks. Marco van Staden and Kwagga Smit, 21 and 22 replacement loose forwards, with the only backline player, Kobus Reinach, at number 23 for South Africa today. So that's where I think the game will... That's the difference between these two sides. I heard the other commentators saying that they think Ireland would like to hang on to their starting 15 for as long as they can, while the Springboks will probably make their replacements earlier in order to get that power, that second wave of strength going for them in this match.
Absolutely. So 75 test matches today for Damien de Lende, a real milestone for him. And it'll also be the first time the Springboks have clashed against Ireland, as I said, at Rugby World Cup. It's a game that promises to be so much more than it is on paper. South Africa struggling in the first half against Scotland and making sure that they dominated in the second half of that encounter. Will it be the Springbok bench dominance with their forwards, or will it be Irish flair? Quick ruck speed is something that the Irish rely heavily on. The Springboks with their forwards dominance and physicality. South Africa have won their last 7 tests at the Stade de France. Their last defeat was in 2005, 26 points to 20 against the host nation, France, but not coming up against each other at this venue before. So you never know what may come of it. The last time these two sides met, Bongi Manambi, Frans Malherbe, Steven Kitsoff, Eben Etzebeth, Peter Steftutoy, Franco Mostert, Siya Kolisi, Faf de Klerk, Damien de Lende were in that side in 2016 at Nelson Mandela Bay in Gqeberha. But South Africa have a much better record against Ireland than they do against most other nations as they run out onto the field. 27 games played with 18 wins and 8 losses. Otto, this game is undoubtedly going to be a close one. What are you thinking in terms of a scoreline?
Springboks by 6. That was my prediction. So I'm sticking to that one. I think that Ireland might be ahead, or they might hang on just, but they won't go away. It'll be a fight up until the 85th minute, or maybe even the 90th minute of the match. So yes, it's going to be huge. It's going to take a special effort from the Springboks to beat this Ireland team. If the Springboks are any If any part of their game is off, they're going to pay for it dearly, because this Irish team is maybe not as experienced, but they are a very, very good side. Um, Great continuity in team selection the past few years. They're not number one in the world for nothing. They really are an awesome team.
Yeah, it's going to be
Yeah,
an
so
interesting
oof,
outcome for this game. Both sides unbeaten in their last 5 outings. Ireland stretching that back to 2022. And so it's going to be one that somebody's record has to be broken, or perhaps will we see what we saw between Georgia and Portugal earlier today, the first drawn game of Rugby World Cup 2023. How incredible
yeah,
would that be if both of these sides could come out even? But like you said, Otto, always narrow between these two sides in the last kind of 5 encounters. It might come down to a kick missed here or an opportunity gone a begging there. This
yeah.
evening, the Springboks are in a third kit at this Rugby World Cup. They've got the second
Hmm.
alternative, also known as the plain white kit with the jade trimming. World Rugby rather, indicating that their traditional away kit does clash with this Irish green. So Ireland in green with their white shorts, South Africa white with marine shorts or turquoise shorts, and they match that with the trimming around there. An absolutely electric atmosphere at the Stade de France, because not only are there a lot of Irish fans, because geographically it's quite a fair assistance for them, but it is also a lot of South Africans that would have gone over, and you can see plenty of green and gold support, loudly singing the national anthem, and the passion on the face of Siamtana Kolisi is palpable. These two sides just want to get stuck into each other, and I cannot wait for this game. The refereeing team for today, Otto, do you want to take us through that?
I Yes. Okay. So thank you very much for updating that, because I didn't get to that part. But it was Ben O'Keefe. It will be Ben O'Keefe from New Zealand, who will be the referee today, with Mathieu Renal and James Dolman of France and New Zealand, respectively, the assistant referees, and Brendan Pickerel, also from New Zealand, in the TMO box.
Yeah, if you remember
16 degrees
Mathieu Ranel,
Celsius, no rain predicted, and mostly clear skies with a wind of about 4 k's an hour, so not much to speak of there.
Mathieu Ranel was the referee in the last game for the Springboks, in which they took on Romania, but it's a very different encounter, this one. It's one that these referees are certainly going to feel the pressure. Sounds the call that everybody wants to hear in South Africa. And I'm just getting chills thinking about the passion with which Springbok fans and Springboks alike are singing that national anthem. Like you said, a glorious day for rugby. Much better, I think, for rugby than we had in that first game against Scotland. It was much warmer, much more humid, and one that I think the Springboks really struggled with, particularly in Frans Malherbe in that first kind of 20, 30 minutes of the game, to find his rhythm and find his placement in terms of scrummaging. We've got to keep an eye on the scrummaging this evening rather,
Mm.
because it's going to be where the game is most likely won and lost.
Yes, indeed, and that's where the real battle will be between the starting pack. At first, the two starting packs, and I'm expecting the Springboks to have won over the Irish when all the replacements have been made. That's a big deal for the Springboks. So let's hope for a good test match. The teams are getting ready to start the match here on my side. I see Johnny Sexton with the ball in hand for Ireland. They will be kicking off, and we'll just check for you who's playing to which end, and so on and so forth. So just
Yeah,
about
just the
ready, waiting for the referee to give the signal.
last couple of words from each team in their huddles before they go out there, and it's going to be one for the ages. I think imagine that there's going to be a huge kind of high scoring from either side. So I think it's going to be one that will test both sides.
Indeed. So will you start us off for the first 10 minutes, David?
I'm happy to do so. Johnny Sexton with ball in hand. Ben O'Keefe in his dark purple with pink trimming. We're painting a picture here for you as this game is now underway. Ben O'Keefe blows his whistle, and here we go. Kick to the center of the park, 22 meters. Damien Willemse collects and manages to slip the first tackler. Slips the second one, cuts inside and is brought down by Ronan Kelleher. Digging at the bottom of the ruck is Faf de Klerk. Ball inside, dummy run, out wide to Cheslin Colby in some space, and he's blundered it early on here. Within the first 30 seconds, Cheslin Colby has dropped it, and so that one's gone into touch. Handling errors have got to be cleared up very quickly in this game.
So will that be the first scrum of the match then, or was he over the line when he fumbled that ball?
I think it's just gone out into touch.
Okay, so that'll be a line out to Ireland on the far side of the field. Ireland playing from right to left on our screens, and they will have possession just inside the 22 of South Africa.
Yeah, just having a look at the replay there. Damien Willemse beat one, beat another. Bit of an interesting tackle there from Ronan Kelleher, lifting Damien Willemse and dropping him. So I don't think there's going to be any conversation. Dwayne Vermeulen, who's not in the starting team today, nor is he on the bench, in the coach's box. So really looking to add value there to the management side of the Springboks. Many great minds in that coaching box. Andy Farrell with his coaching team looking quite focused. And Ben O'Keefe hasn't really indicated yet. 46 seconds on the clock. Hasn't really indicated what it's going to be, because they're all lining up for what looks like a line out, but they haven't quite zoomed out enough to give us the opportunity to see what we're going to get. There's still a water break going. Ben O'Keefe, while we wait for some running repairs onto the Irish prop, Todd Furlong. And yeah, it'll be a throw. So finally we get the answer to our question. Inside the box 22. Quick ruck speed. Turnover by the Springboks. Franco Mostert, no. I thought Franco Mostert had that, but at the back of the lineup, not able to get it. Gibson Park goes to the blind side. Just runs into contact into Siya Kolisi. Where's he going to go? To the pot of forwards. He goes to Tyke Byrne. Brought down by Siya Kolisi. 15 meters out. It's Johnny Sexton. Through the hands to Gary Ringrose. Gibson Park going to the far side of the park now. Ireland still putting pressure. Quick ruck speed again and again and again. It's something that I'm going to speak about. Hugo Keenan brought down. Crucial defense from the Springboks. Penalty advantage. Not rolling away. Ireland now have the opportunity to really work hard. Bandiaki brought down in midfield by Pieter-Steph du Toit. Trying to get over the 22-meter line and an intercept by Cheslin Colby. A bit of a wild throw out there, but Mac Hansen not able to get his hands on it. The Connacht man, but they were in penalty advantage, and so that's why you can take the risk. So 1 minute and 48 seconds gone, 1:51 rather, and now the Springboks are having to fix their errors. Steven Kitshoff, the man, not rolling away in that instance.
Yeah, he was almost out of the way, but not quite managing to be on the good side of Ben O'Keefe's whistle there. So it will be a penalty kick, which Johnny Sexton pops over the far side touchline for the second line-out of the match. Let's hope that South Africa can steal the ball once again, like they did just there. It was almost a beautiful steal there for the Springboks, but things just not working out with Ireland immediately stealing it back.
James Ryan marshalling his men. Will he be the intended? South Africa turning over the ball inside their own 22. Cheslin Colby thumps that away downfield. Good bit of recompense work. Not out, and it's knocked backwards. Does South Africa get the advantage? Quick throw from the line-out. Taken. Faf de Klerk kicks it away downfield, and a favorable bounce here for Kurtley Arendse on this 10-meter line. He's got Jesse Creel on the inside. Gets over the 22, but there's no Springboks in support. Eventually, support does arrive with Damien Delende. Inside Ireland's 22. Jasper Wiese, the wrecking ball. He's got support from Steven Kitshoff and Frans Malherbe. Lebok, out wide. Cut back inside does Damien Willemse. Great bit of work there to retain the ball. Penalty advantage coming for the Springboks. What on earth was that? A bit of a turn of fortune here. Siya Kolisi, into contact he goes, driving forward. Bandi Aki blocking the way there, having to get out the way. Faf de Klerk to Mbonambi, runs into Peter Omani. Faf de Klerk again, looking to go with Jasper Wiese inside the Irish 22. Infield they go. Ibn Etzebeth brought down in midfield. Towards us they come. Lebok to Jesse Creel. He's got Willemse on support, but it's popped out in an unfortunate position. Looks like it's been knocked on, and we're going to go back for the penalty. What a bit of drama there as Pieter-Steph du Toit is now on the ground clutching his shoulder. But Otto, that certainly changed the game with the steal at the line-out.
Yes, very great looking counter-attack there from the Springboks off that line-out. And Rassie Erasmus showing the yellow light, whatever that means. So pressure here on Ireland. They've conceded a penalty. And the Springboks say they'll take the 3 points. They're not going to be as foolhardy as the Irish were with that possession being sacrificed in the line-out there. It was a very kind bounce for Kurtley Arendse off the kick from Faf de Klerk, and he caught the ball just outside the Irish 22, passed it inside to Jesse Creel, who made it into the 22, and then luckily for the Springboks, the support was there, and from there they forced the transgression. There was also some afters there by the Irish number 5 that caused a possible injury there to James Ryan. Yes, was the culprit there, so I'm not sure if there will be any action against him. It doesn't look like that, but hopefully Pieter-Steph du Toit is okay. Manie Lebok is going to take the shot here. 5 minutes played. No score yet on the board. But Manie Lebok has got an easy kick here for... Oh, I shouldn't have said that. He's got a penalty kick here inside the Irish 22, just to the left of the left-hand upright as we look at it.
Yeah, it's going to be a crucial kick, about 21 meters out. And has he slotted it? Yes! Referee's assistant, yes. Both sides aloft with their flags. And South Africa have the first points of this encounter. It was a great bit of work at line-out time that really set things in motion, and not an iota of Irish dominance in the set pieces yet. Really some uneasy effort there from them. Johnny Sexton will get us underway. 5 minutes and 48 seconds gone, and it is 3 points to 0 for the Springboks. Inside, or just outside the 22. Who will be the catcher? It will be Franco Mostert, put under pressure by some Irish men, but South Africa retaining. The Caterpillar coming out, which means there's a box kick, which is imminent. Steven Kitshoff, the blocking man, hoofed high into the air and coming down at just about halfway. Collected by Mac Hansen. Pushed back over halfway. South Africa not really committing men to the breakdown. Again, it's the late tackler, James Ryan, up to halfway. Ireland going the opposite direction out to the far side of the park. They persist to the far side. Massive tackle there by Faf de Klerk. Does he keep it? No, the referee's blown his whistle. Looks like a racehorse with his hair flowing so freely in the wind there.
He does. He almost collected that pass, but it was deemed to be a deliberate knock-on against Faf de Klerk, but he would have been through under the sticks there. Lucky escape there for Ireland, I would say. And Johnny Sexton will set up another line. Just this kick is going to be too far for even him. Would have been inside his own half, about 10 meters from the far side touchline, and Faf de Klerk almost collecting that. Just got a left hand to it, popped it up into the air, but couldn't catch it. Ooh, he would have been away there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's some dominance. Springboks again upsetting line-out time. Penalty advantage coming for the Springboks, and the referee's blown his whistle because Ireland tried to take it back. Knocked on by Ireland and then by South Africa. So the first scrum of the game.
Yes, indeed. So it was quite a difficult throw for the Irish players to collect, and the ball just skimming off the top of the fingers there of the Ireland number 5. Ryan it is. So almost collected by Manie Lebok coming through, and then the referee said no, we'll come back for the scrum.
I think that's where South Africa has the edge, particularly at line-out time against this Irish side. Ronan Kelleher is only earning his 24th cap today. Bongi Manambi with his 65th. So this first half is going to be a real matchup. Scrum is called, and we'll see how we go. Short arm penalty because of early engagement from Ireland. So that's the third or fourth instance in which the Irish pack have got it wrong, and it's small issues of discipline. They're going to go for a scrum again, but that's something that they're going to have to rectify very early. Will Ireland?
Yeah, it's good signs here for the Springboks. Ireland just being early on the shove there. So the Springboks immediately call another scrum, which is great.
Good bit of indication there from Stephen Kitsoff. He said we're gonna certainly come hard at you. Andrew Porter with 56 caps, Ronan Kelleher 23, Tyke Furlong 69 before this game for all of these three boys. Kitsoff with 79 today, 64 for Manambi and 66 for Malherbe. So serious experience on the side of the Springboks. That scrum doesn't collapse, but Jasper Wiese picks it up out the back, runs into some Irish defenders. Faf de Klerk going to his forwards at the far side of the park. Peter Steff carrying it into contact, and James Ryan trying to be a bit of a nuisance to the South Africans at the breakdown. Faf de Klerk looking like he's going to go to the far side again. Box kick in the end. This one hanging high and it'll land on halfway. Picked up by Mac Hansen and immediately smashed backwards. Ireland putting on trying to get some front football here through Peter Omani, and the referee says not rolling away, and they get a penalty. A bit of a chirp there from Jameson Gibson Park, and the South Africans at the breakdown twice now guilty of not rolling away quick enough for referee Ben O'Keefe. 10 minutes gone, and Otto will take us through to the end of the first quarter.
Thank you very much, David. Yes, typical test match rugby here. Counter punch and counter punch. Johnny Sexton has the ball now just about on his halfway line, on the halfway line, just behind, in the middle of the park, and he's going to send it through to the far side touchline once again to try and set up the line out there. Did he make touch? Yep, that's an excellent kick. And Ireland will have a line out very close to the South African line. Double tackle there on Mac Hansen as he came down. Perfect timing by Siya Kolisi and Stephen Kitsoff. But then in the subsequent ruck, Eben Etzebeth was deemed to be not rolling away. Bongi Mbanambi was about to steal the ball, but the referee giving the penalty against Etzebeth. And now South Africa are defending their line again. 11 minutes gone, just about. Ireland put it into the lineup. Once again, they can't secure position, and Mani Libbok comes through to clean it up at the back with good support there on hand for the Springboks. Another escape for the Springboks, and Ireland turning down at least 3 points. The other penalties were too far away. Faf de Klerk with a kick down the far side touchline, and he will set up an Ireland line out around the 10-meter line of the Springboks on the far side of the field. 11 and a half minutes gone now. 3 points to South Africa, 0 points now so far for Ireland. Now the line out is just positive inside the Springbok 10-meter line.
Positive for the Springboks, and some real concerns for Ronan Kelleher here. His lineouts haven't yet found its intended jumper in this game. We're nearly 15 minutes into this game, 11 or so and a half minutes left in this game. But wow, it's going to be interesting.
Kelleher with a throw. The first time Ireland have lineout possession into the hands of Sexton now, with runners coming through for Ireland, but good tackle in the middle of the park there by the Springboks. Have they got the turnover here, the Springboks? No. Jameson Park has it into the hands of Ryan, who gets tackled just about on the advantage line by two Springboks. The counter ruck attempt there by Siya Kolisi is disruptive, but it's not enough to get possession. Van der Vlier now receives from Gibson Park into the hands of the Irish backline, and the number 15 is over the 5-meter line, almost on the near side of the park here with a sweeping backline move. Ireland have almost scored there. Ryan once again driving forward for Ireland, trying to place the ball over the line. No, says the referee, it was knocked on by Ireland on the line there. Nervous moments here for the Springboks. That was an excellent backline move with the forwards and the backs interplay. Excellent there from Ireland. Sending it back into the hands of, was it Ringrose, who then floats a pass out wide to the Ireland fullback. Over the 22 he went, and over the 5-meter line. What a try-saving tackle there by Jesse Kriel. and the rest of the Springboks coming back to defend their line just in time there. Wow, that could have been a real disaster for the Springboks there. And there is Mr. Pollard in the team box next to Vincent Koch as well. 13 and a half minutes played now in Saint-Denis, with the Springboks in the lead by 3, and it'll be a scrum to the Springboks, a defending scrum on their own 5-meter line, about 10 meters in from the near side touchline. Boy, that was close.
Yeah, nervous times for the Springboks, but it is that try-saving tackle that makes the difference. Going to be an interesting scrum here once again.
Now let's see how this one will go. Oh, it's an immediate scrum penalty against Ireland. Straight away penalty against Ireland. I'm not sure exactly what that was for.
Oh, Stephen Kitsov getting in the face.
Early engagement. Early engagement. Yeah.
He's already given a free kick for it, and that's why he's giving that penalty. And I think if it happens again, we might see a stern warning plus a penalty. Hopefully no yellow cards. I think that what we want is an even contest between these two sides, and the ball going out on the Springboks 10-meter line.
So the scrum's now 3-0 to the Springboks. And Bongi Mbonambi will...
on 3 or 4-1 to the lineouts.
Yes, at least 4-1, I think. Bongi Mbonambi with the ball. Lineouts on the 10-meter line of the Springboks. Quick ball down to Faf de Klerk into the hands of Barney Libbok to Siya Kolisi in midfield in the middle of the park. And the Irish forwards trying to hold him up, but he manages to get his knees on the ground. And now Ireland try and steal the ball, which they do. And it's into the hands of Ryan, and then it gets knocked on there in a bit of a melee as the Irish forwards get in each other's way there a little bit. But that's once again a lucky escape by the Springboks.
Presence of mind is crucial for either of these two sides if they're going to dominate this game, or at least get a foot up, because it was that moment in which South Africa weren't aware of what was going on, not enough support. Luckily, like you said, Siya Kolisi getting to his knees, but in that moment, Ireland able to turn over the ball through Tyg Byrne.
Yeah, and then Caelan Doris knocked it on as he was receiving the ball from the number 4, Tyg Byrne. So lucky escape once again for the Springboks. It'll be a scrum to the Springboks in the middle of the field, just about on the 10-meter line. 15 and a half minutes played. The clock is stopped now. So I'm not sure if there was an injury or what's going on, but the clock is stopped at the moment.
Taking a bit of a knock. It's been a number of huge tackles by the Springbok forward pack. They've certainly come out here or two looking to smash the Irish men and pounce upon any errors that they may offer up. Particularly at
I'm trying to see if I can spot somebody who's injured, but I cannot. So this must be some kind of... This couldn't be the 20-minute water break. We're still 4.5 minutes away from that mark. Isabel Lawrence asking us to show the video. Unfortunately, we are just a radio commentary station at this point. Isabel, thank you so much for listening along with us. And you can follow the action with us, but unfortunately, we cannot bring you the actual visuals. So it'll be a scrum to the Springboks on the 10-meter line on their own 10-meter line. Faf de Klerk putting the ball in now. Scrum is set steadily this time. And a very steady scrum here by both teams. Referee says, Faf, use it. He's waiting for the penalty, which doesn't come. Damian Willemse into the line, gets the ball from Faf de Klerk. He's over the halfway line, 15 meters from the near side touchline. Jasper Visse in support to Eben Etzebeth, who gets tackled on the Irish 10-meter line. Good clean out there by the Springboks. Faf de Klerk digging for it as the Irish try to counter-ruck. He sends it to the middle of the park. Barney Libbok to Bongi Mbonambi, crashing forward into Sexton. Faf de Klerk gets the ball to the near side now in the hands of Kurtley Arendse, who gets tackled just inside the Irish half, with James Lowe making a nuisance of himself and stealing the ball, getting the penalty for Ireland there. Good work there by James Lowe. Kurtley Arendse went to ground and he was on it like a limpet straight away. It's a penalty to Ireland just inside their own half, 5 meters from the near side touchline. 16 and a half minutes played.
If the forwards won't do the forwards' jobs, then it looks like the backs are going to have to do it for Ireland. But The concern there for me is the number of times that Springbok players have slipped and fallen down, and that's something that they'll perhaps be mindful of. Maybe a change of boots, because in that moment it was the fact that Siya Kolisi had slipped and fallen that prevented him from assisting Kurtley Arendse in that breakdown there. Damian Willems.
Yeah, Jesse Kriel came in to help there, but he was too late. Studs not long enough there on the boots of the Springboks, it seems. So it will be an Irish throw just outside the Springbok 22, and the referee is having a very short-lived argument here with the Irish team about where they're standing.
Well, Andrew Porter's nowhere near the 5 meter gap, the 0.5 meter gap between the two. Throw it where the assistant referee is, and stop trying to give an assistance to.
Byrne gets the ball at the front of the line out. Van der Fleer sends it out to Gibson Park. Bondi Aki cutting in over the 22 of the Springboks. Good work there at the breakdown by the Springboks, and they get the penalty this time. And now there's a little bit of pushing and shoving there between the players, which is not nice to see. I think that was Bongi Mbonambi who stole that ball from Josh van der Fleer.
Yeah, it's
good work there by the Springboks.
Back there. Yeah, as well.
And now, the Irish players walking away with the ball after that penalty was blown. Mani Labok now with the ball in hand. 18 and a half minutes gone. With the left boot, he goes over the near side touchline, and the line-out will be set on the Irish 10-meter line.
Real opportunity here for the Springboks to put some territory under their belt, because they've been struggling in this first half, having to defend on their own line for a number of instances and maybe some fortune. But now the game could switch through the South African line-out.
Etzebeth to Faf de Klerk to Mani Libok and to Kurtley Arendse into the line. Now again into Mani Libok with Peter Steph Toy cutting the inside line. Faf de Klerk once again. He sends it to Bongi Mbonambi, who crashes into Ryan and Van der Fleer. Faf de Klerk goes digging for it there, and he sends it out to Libok into the hands of Damien Dalende, who bumps off one tackler on the Irish 10-meter line in the middle of the park and gets some gains forward. Libok to Peter Steph Toy behind to Damian Willems, who sends a kick through to the far side touchline. Is it going to go out in goal? No, it's a line out to Ireland on their own 5-meter line. And with the performance of the Springboks in the line outs, this will be nervous moments for the Irish forward pack.
Fist pump of
joy. It was Ringrose, I think, who got bumped off by Damien Dalende. Yeah. Sorry,
well, it's the risk that you take. Damien Dalende is a massive rugby player. You know, Gary Ringrose thinking that he can try and take on somebody of his height, and all credit to him because he wants to go out there and perform. But it was very much trying to run into a forklift truck. So good to see the South Africans dominating in the contact as well as at set piece.
Ireland secure the ball on their own 5-meter line, and now it's Caelan Doris who carries it forward 15 meters from the far side touchline. Jamison Gibson Park is in attendance there with the caterpillar being set up for him with the right boot. He kicks it now, but it's charged down by South Africa, and it goes over the far side touchline. It's a best there, managing to charge that one down. And so the next 10 minutes, you'll be in the capable hands of David Midgley.
Tremendous effort there from Eben Etzebeth. 115 caps today, and he deserves every bit of plaudits in that instance, because South Africa retained territory in which they put the Irish under pressure. Just 4 men in the line-out. Who will they go to for their jumper? Is it Peter O'Mani? It is Mani indeed. Taking it down, and the referee said, well, he's thrown it skew, and the Springboks will have a penalty. So 21 minutes gone, 3-0, and Otto Simon, again, now the Springboks must take this opportunity, kick for the corner, and look to maul over. There's got to be a try in this. I don't think we can take the opportunity to look for 3 more points. You'd love to be 10-0 up heading into the final 10 minutes of this first half. But the Springboks seemingly having the upper hand at the moment. 5 lineouts lost by Ireland, yet to show their skill. So it looks like number 13, Gary Ringrose, having come off. And we'll have to just change on our team sheet who's going to come on, and it looks like Robbie Henshaw, looking like he might also come on, but it's not going to be him. It'll be Jack Crowley from Munster, his 8th cap this afternoon. Looks like there's a double substitution from Ireland. So Robbie Henshaw comes onto the park, and he's going to replace Gary Ringrose. I think it's a precautionary measure, rather. It might not necessarily be a complete substitution, but rather that of a head injury assessment. So scrum time now, 15 minutes in from the far side touchline and inside the Irish 22. South Africa setting up. Cheslin Colby directly behind the Springbok scrum. Then it's Libbok and Arendse. Arendse, Libbok and Dealendi. Right, feed comes to the scrum. Static scrum, and there comes the second shove from the Springboks, but not big enough. De Klerk to Dealendi. Bounces off the first tackler, bounces off another. He gets very close, 2 meters out. Held up. Faf de Klerk going to Peter Steph du Toit. Faf de Klerk not able to find the ball, and it's come out on the side of the Irish, and it's touched down in the in-goal area. And now Jasper Wiese wants to have a chat with some of the Irish forwards. Deep breaths, gents. Deep breaths. You're muted.
Yeah. Trying to figure out the logistics around the braai after the game there. Jasper Wiese and the Irish loosehead prop, I think it was. It was Andrew Porter.
So it's first been Ringrose who's come up short, and now Johnny Sexton smashed by Damien Dealendi. Just sit down, son. South Africa agonizingly close there. 2 meters from the line, and that's when the ball popped out. Great bit of work again by James Lowe, becoming a bit of a fetcher. So we're just going to have a look and see whether or not Johnny Sexton is going to come off. 22 minutes, 54 seconds on the clock. Willie Leroux also being involved in this South African water contingent. So you've got Dwayne Vermeulen in that commentary box, or not the commentary box, the coaching box rather, and then you've got Willie Leroux. So it shows how much each team member is putting their effort into this encounter. Doesn't matter if you're not part of the match 23, you still have the opportunity to impact the game. It's going to be a scrum on the 5-meter line of the Irish. And how good would it be if South Africa could turn this ball over here?
Yeah, so because it was knocked back by James Lowe out of that ruck when Peter Steph du Toit lost control of the ball there close to the line or over the line, it's a 5-meter scrum to South Africa, right in front of the posts, in the middle of the park.
Excuse me. Right. So if the Springboks can push this over, it'll go straight. Damien Willemse with Manie Libbok in the pocket. So we might just see a cheeky drop goal attempt here. Damien Willemse's got a couple of drop goals to his name, 2 of them. So it's going to be crucial to see what the Springboks come up with here. Set is the call from Ben O'Keefe. Feed there. Static, not going anywhere. Maybe a little bit backward from the Springboks. Faf de Klerk digging it out the back. He goes himself. Through to Jesse Kriel. 1 meter short. Siya Kolisi losing the ball in contact and having to fight back. Ireland in possession of the ball. Gibson Park trying to serve up his fullback in Hugo Keenan to kick that away. He kicks it high, but it's in between 10 and 22. Willemse collects and gets over the 22 meter, or nearly gets over the 22 meter line. Brought down by Robbie Henshaw. Kitsoff goes into contact. Faf, near side of the park. Kolisi low at his feet, taking that one. Runs into contact, and the referee said that he's knocked that ball on, and at the 25th minute mark, the Springboks will have to scrum in the Irish 20, in between 10 and 22 for the Irish.
David Butler noticing my Fox Terrier barking at nothing here. Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah, that was so close once again by the Springboks, and this is something that we talked about in our Crash Ball podcast, where even against Romania, the Springboks sometimes lack that finishing touches, just not managing to seal the deal when they're on attack every so often. But let's hope that they can get rid of those errors, because both teams have been guilty of a few errors. The Irish maybe more than the Springboks with their line-out performance so far that has been absolutely shocking. Now
Yeah,
another
it
scrum.
looks
This
like
time Ireland with the pudding.
James Lowe really firing up his teammates here. He's certainly going to put some pressure on the South Africans here. Now, Gibson Park with his opportunity to feed the scrum. Set is the call. Really big shove here from the Springboks, collapsing on the near side, but Ireland retain the possession. Bundy Aki to Sexton. Sexton out wide to Keenan, who thumps this downfield over the heads of the Springboks, and will go into touch on the far side between the 10 and 22, probably about 12 meters from the halfway line into the South African half. 26 minutes and 20 seconds gone. 3-0 to the Springboks.
Very nice, solid scrum there by both teams once again. And the scrum just collapsing on the Irish loosehead side, but the ball was already available to play. So line out on the far side of the field.
Mbonambi looking for his intended jumper. Will it be Eben Smith? It is to Faf de Klerk. Outside their 22 go the Springboks. Siya Kolisi in that lovely space between 10 and 22. Use it is the call. Into the pocket. Mani Lubbock with a high cross kick, trying to put some pressure on the Irishmen. Curtly Arendse collects a great bit of work there by the Springboks. On the halfway line. Grab a kick almost over the top to find their way through. Damien Willemse bringing down in the number 11, James Lowe. Springboks in support, trying to turn the ball over. Gibson Park having to dig at the bottom of there, and so there's nobody there for him to take control of that. Mac Hansen coming across in the scrum half position. Tag Byrne just meandering into, or Tag Furlong rather, meandering into that contact so that his scrum half can get out of the bottom of the previous ruck. Gibson Park saying, use it now. Box kick incoming. Inside his own 22. Kicked high into the air. Who will be the recipient? Ireland not able to get it. And, well, it will be an Ireland penalty because South Africa knocked it on at that box kick. Curtly Arendse, perhaps the guilty party in that instance. Small errors creeping into the Springbok. But I think in interacting with the man in the air, I don't think that's something that should go unnoticed. Two things that we've seen.
Yeah, that's definitely grabbing Curtly Arendse in the air, but nothing doing by the refereeing team. So I wonder if they'll have another look at that. Probably not. So let's see.
Floor, getting some
let's see what happens when a Springbok does that. Yeah.
So that's why there's a hold up in the game. 28 minutes and 15 seconds gone. Tag Byrne, the monster man, having a chat to his teammates there in the forward pack. Really got to turn this around with their lineouts if they're looking to disturb this Springbok cohesion. Willie Leroux geeing up his men, knowing what it means to the Springboks if they were to get over the line. Crucial for each
the
team.
rest of the players in the squad really playing a crucial role here on the field, next to the field, in the coaching box, supporting their players, carrying the water bottles. It's great to see.
So the scrum will now be set. We'll see.
So just having a...
It's been a very even contest between both sets of forwards.
Yeah, so far Ireland are standing up in the scrum set piece, but unfortunately the lineout and they're a bit behind in the scrums, but the lineout has been woeful, and in the open play, the Irish players are absolutely getting monstered at every opportunity, and it's just because of Ireland's guile and their tenacity, their technique, that they've been able to turn over the ball at crucial times. So this is a typical heavy hitter test match.
Absolutely. Feed coming now from Gibson Park. Out the back he goes, and it looks like he's knocked it on, but the referee saying knocked backwards. Bundy Aki breaking through the defensive line of the Springboks. Men chasing him down. Is anybody going to be able to bring him down? Curtly Arendse on the 22 of the Springboks. Quick ball is crucial here. Gibson Park smashed. Oh, my word. That was huge by the Springboks. Franco Mostert found him and ran him over. Boy, oh boy, was that a great bit of work there by Bandi Aki. Over the 22 goes Andrew Porter. Will the Springboks be able to turn it over? No. They continue their assault on the Springbok 22. Bandi Aki getting smashed there by Bongio Manambi. Certainly knocking the wind out of a couple of Irish men. Inside the Springbok 22, that territory certainly put pressure in every instance of the word on the South Africans. Gibson Park looking to go to the far side, switches it up. He finds Porter. Huge tackle again by the Springboks. That's where they're going to get you. That quick line speed and the heavy tackles. Inside the 22, not really gaining momentum are the Irish. Trying to throw it through their hands, and now they're being pushed back beyond the gain line. Set up for the Springboks. Again, Porter, the first option, and it is Josh van der Fleer who gets pushed back this time. South Africa slowly gaining territory. Sexton out wide to Bandi Aki. He's in a bit of space. Ibn Etzebeth, can he bring him back off to the left wing and brought down by Damien Willemse? And penalty advantage. South Africa playing it on the ground. Referee says advantage. Porter again the first option. Gibson Park. Half an hour on the clock. Digging deep in that ruck is Gibson Park. He goes to Robbie Henshaw. Cross kick. Trying to find some space there, but that one's gone into touch over the goal line. And so referee Ben O'Keefe coming back for the penalty. Otto Simon's going to take us through to the final 10 minutes of this encounter. It is a tight one. 3-0 to the Springboks.
Yes, indeed. Sam Galada saying 100% behind you, boys. Much, much, much love to my crush, Faf de Klerk. You go, my dwarf. Thank you so much, Sam, for listening. So the Irish penalty for Franco Mostert playing that ball on the ground there. Let's see what they're going to do with this one. And no doubt Sexton will set up the line out here on the near side of the field, and he does so now. So let's just see a replay here. I think it was Franco Mostert just going with his hands beyond the ball there, not supporting his weight.
But there was a man who had a arm wrapped around his neck.
Yeah, that's lots of stuff being missed here by the referees from a Springbok perspective. But
also
of course,
being highlighted by the broadcaster. And it's, remember, this is not South Africa's broadcaster that is bringing you this game. Yes, they have commentators, but this is not their game.
Ireland trying to set them all, but they don't. Josh van der Fleer goes around the corner with it and sets up a ruck here 5 meters out. Ireland playing through the phases now, getting met with ferocious defense by the Springboks. Once again, they go forward over the 5 meter line, low tackles by the Springboks. To the middle of the park they go once again. And this time there's a very slow ball there for Gibson Park as the Irish number 6 takes it back over the 5 meter line. And good defense holding up here for the Springboks. Another Irish attack in the form of Josh van der Fleer is brought down short of the try line. Gibson Park to Sexton, hands it off to the back line, who sends it back to Sexton, and he's onto the try line almost on the right side post, and he doesn't get it through. Wide ball out now to Mac Hansen, the Irish right wing, who falls over in the goal area of the Springboks for a try, the first try of the match. 33 minutes played, 3 points to South Africa and 5 points to Ireland.
Yeah, it was a great bit of defensive work there by the Springboks, but innovation from Ireland. They knew if they held the play for just a half a second longer, they would be able to get it out wide, and that's exactly what they've done. He tripped and fell there, luckily not getting his leg over the in-goal line there. So nearly could have.
Oh, he almost fell over the dead ball line there, Hansen. But he gets the try.
Ninth try for him. 5 points to 3.
Yes, indeed. So, Johnny Sexton with the kick, about 10 meters from the far side touchline, where the try was scored. 34 minutes played. Ireland lead 5 points to 3.
Crucial kick this for Johnny Sexton.
Yeah.
13 seconds on the shot clock.
And on the 5-second mark, he strikes it. And it goes sailing through the uprights. Ireland lead by 4 points, 7 points to 3 at Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. And it was good sustained pressure there by Ireland, managing to spread that ball wide after earning the right to go wide, as they say. Right, now we see Manie Libbok with the ball. Springboks playing left to right. 5 minutes left on the clock. Gary Ringrose is back on the field. Libbok sends it high into the sky. It's going to come down just outside the 22. Fumbled in the air there and collected by Siakulisi. As my feet get stuck. And it's out.
No worries.
Cross kick to the far side. Yeah. And then Kirtley Arendse couldn't chase it down, but it'll be an Irish line out about 6-7 meters from their try line on the near side of the field. So cross kick there by Damien Willemse, you said?
Yeah, Damien Willemse with a Mathieu Ranel, the official on the near side, just guiding Ronan Kelleher to throw where he is positioned, not in favor of his...
4-man line out now for Ireland. And they manage to collect the ball, and it goes into the hands of Caelan Doris, who rumbles it up, and just about 10 meters from the Irish 22. Peter Steph du Toit is penalized for not rolling away. It'll be an Irish penalty and an easy clearance of the lines for Ireland. With 4 minutes left on the clock in the first half, Ireland lead by 7 points to 3.
Yeah, it's going to be
an
important decision for the Springboks in utilizing their penalties when they do get them, because particularly against this Irish side, if you don't capitalize on your entries into their 22, you will find yourself ruining those chances. So the South Africans need to make sure that they are effective with that. But Ireland, being the recipient of penalties, the fortune of South African penalties in the second 20 of this first half so far, too.
Yep. So Ireland with the throw to the line-out, they managed to collect the ball. Sexton to Bundy Aki, who gets tackled this time in the middle of the park. Gibson Park to Caelan Doris. Out to one of the backline players, I think there. They come back to this near side of the field. Van der Vlier to Sexton. And Bundy Aki there is wrapped up by Damien de Linde and driven back over the Irish 10-meter line. And now it's Jamison Gibson Park setting up a little bit of a caterpillar there for himself so that he can send this one up into the sky, which he does. It's going to come down just inside the Springbok 10-meter line where Kirtley Arendse goes up, fumbles the ball backwards, but Damien Willemse is there to pick it up. And there's some Springbok support there to secure possession. Faf de Klerk goes towards the middle of the park where Franco Mostert rumbles it up, I think. No, that was Eben Etzebeth. Faf de Klerk to Manie Libbok with the left foot, sends it high into the sky. It's going to come down onto the Irish 10-meter line in the middle of the park now. And here come Ireland with the counter-attack, but the number 15 is brought down in the middle of the park. And another Irish player is manhandled there by Eben Etzebeth in the middle of the field, just inside the Springbok half. Wide pass out to the near side to James Lowe, kicks the ball forward with the left foot and chases. But this ball is going to roll over the dead ball line, so it'll be a scrum to South Africa just about on the halfway mark on the near side of the field. But now we can see the street smarts here of this Irish team. They're just going to keep this ball inside the Springbok half and keep asking the questions of the Springboks, keep asking the Boks to come back from inside their own 22 and inside their own half. As Nick V says, go Bokke, support from Qatar. Thank you very much, Nick, for the support. And we hope you enjoy our commentary, listening to us here in Gauteng, bringing you this game from Saint-Denis.
I want to
so it'll be a scrum
again,
to the Springboks, 5 meters from the near side touchline on their own 10-meter line. Yes.
James Lowe, a late tackle on Kirtley Arendse. He pops the ball back, he picks him up and then dumps him. There's got to be some consistency here from Ben O'Keefe, because it seems like the Springboks are the victims of a number of instances of foul play and not being recognized by the officiating team. Somebody's got to say something.
Well, yeah, let's hope that they do. As Faf de Klerk puts the ball into the scrum here, the scrum collapses, but it is available. Kirtley Arendse gets it from Faf de Klerk now. He hands it off to Manie Libbok, who sends it wide over to Cheslin Colby on the far side of the field. He's tackled just inside the Irish half. Faf de Klerk is there. Ball taken on the halfway line by Jasper Visser with support. And no, says the referee, the support wasn't quick enough. Ireland get another penalty for holding on. 30 seconds left of this first half. And Ireland have a penalty inside their own half, about 10 meters from the far side touchline. Well, yeah, 15 meters from the far side touchline, excuse me. So, yeah, I mean, you've just got to get the referees out of the game. You've just got to be undeniable and get those decisions going your way. So we can't harp on too long about that. Hopefully somebody will start picking this up and we'll have a check from the TMO or something like that. We'll have to wait and see. Sexton with the penalty kick sends it over the far side touchline. But it was good work that time by Van der Vlier to get his hands on the ball there as Colby was a little bit isolated. So it will be an Irish line out now just inside the 22 of the Springboks. They're going to put 5 men into the line out, it looks like. Once again, the Irish don't seem to understand where they should stand and where they should throw. Ryan with the catch there goes back to Kelleher into the hands of Bundy Aki, who makes it into the Springbok 22. Mani Libbok and Damien Dalende bringing him down, trying to steal the ball there, but they're not successful. Van der Vlier takes it up now to the middle of the park. Gibson Park to the far side to the loose head prop there for Ireland. He's held up there a little bit, but manages to place it now. Rush defense coming up, forward pass not being picked up there by the referee, but Ireland have possession. Into the hands of the number 5, Ryan. Those rumbling up now. Ireland about 10, 15 meters out, 20 meters from the far side touchline. And the referee says there was a knock on, I think. And that'll be the end of the half. Ireland lead by 4, 7 points to 3 in Saint Denis at the start of France.
A half of 2 halves, so to speak, as the Springboks dominated the first 20. But ever since then, it has been the Irish show. A couple of fortuitous refereeing decisions, but we're not going to kind of bang on about that. A great bit of work there by Ireland to turn things around, and they lead the Springboks going into halftime. So we'll be back with you after the halftime break. In the meantime, like and subscribe, because you'll know exactly when we go live for every Springbok game at Rugby World Cup.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. And we will be playing you our preview of this match, Crash Ball number 5, which is available on our YouTube channel, our rugby podcast. And that will keep you company while we take a break during the halftime interval. And do let us know on Facebook and YouTube in the comments where you're listening from, who do you think is going to win, and how by how many points. So thank you very much for all your support. Hello, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. This is the Crash Ball episode 5. Still sorting out all our technical difficulties, so sorry about that intermittent song there. It's the 5th episode. We're learning as we go. We're sorting out all our gremlins. So thank you for bearing with us, and we will be taking this podcast to you right now, talking about the 3rd game for all the teams in the Rugby World Cup. I'm joined by Ken Borland and David Midgley, who has taken a walkabout. Once again, the gremlins creeping in, but we are here. We are determined, and we'll see if we can get this one into the can. Ken, how are you doing?
Evening, Otto. Good and you. Enjoyed that lively bit of rock to start the podcast. Just get us up and motivated for what should be an epic Springbok weekend.
Yes, indeed. So this is the Crash 4 podcast, episode number 5. The previous game against Romania. We're going to start with that. And that was a whitewash by the Springboks. Excellent performance. Given the opposition, maybe not so much. What did you think about that game, Ken?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Obviously Romania are a tier 2 or tier 3 nation, so we shouldn't read too much into it. But for me, the big focus of that game was the hooker question. With the injury to Malcolm Marx, the really controversial decision of the Springboks not to replace him with another hooker in Joseph Dweba, to bring in Flower of 100 Pollard instead. I'm sure we'll chat more about that later. But what that means is that Bongi Mbonambi is the only specialist hooker left in the squad for the World Cup. And Deon Fourie is obviously going to back him up. He's obviously played a lot at hooker, but more at flank lately. And surprisingly, Marco van Staden is the other hooker.
Yeah, that was news. That was news.
Quite a surprise.
Yeah, that was news to me as well, because apparently Marco van Staden was groomed as a hooker at the Bulls before he moved into his flank position, and he looked good. Deon Fourie has played at hooker for the Stormers. He hasn't had that job at the Springboks, but both of them look really good with their line-out delivery, because that's really, these days, with the nature of the scrummaging laws and such, you need a hooker that can put the ball into the line-out and find the jumpers, right?
Also, look, I think it's very important, though, to point out that playing hooker in the second half against a Romania team that was already well beaten, they weren't contesting in the lineouts. Their scrum had already been decimated. So there was no pressure on Fourie or Marco van Staden. It's going to be an entirely different kettle of fish later in the tournament. And, I mean, I cover the Bulls, and I've never once heard Marco van Staden mentioned as a hooker at the Bulls. So, look, he's a hell of a rugby player, and he's obviously got the physical attributes that he could be a really good hooker. But it worries me, and I think it just means that Bongi Mbonambi is going to have to play. He's going to play probably the full 80 against Ireland, and there's going to be a hell of a workload on him come the knockouts, probably.
Yeah, the referee Rudolph and I commented on during this game against Romania was the fact that you don't learn much from a victory like this. But what Rudolph did pick up was that there was some difficulty in finishing off moves against Romania, and thinking again about Jaden Hendricks going for the corner. Jaden Hendricks going for the corner instead of playing to the back line that were open. So he was a little bit eager, a little bit of white line fever there. There were a few instances where the Springboks couldn't finish off moves. They had penalty advantages, so it didn't really give the advantage back to Romania, but still looking at it with a critical eye and trying to pick out what the work-ons would be against the bigger teams that we're bound to face, and specifically Ireland, which we'll get to in a moment. Those kind of moments are they could define a game. They could define a tournament.
Yeah, agreed, Otto. Absolutely. And, it's a timely sort of reminder as we play Ireland on Saturday. And Ireland are such an efficient team on attack. They gel really well as a unit. Everyone seems to know their role in attack. They're just playing meticulous rugby. And so, also defensively very good. So, you're right. The Springboks may only get 2 or 3 chances on Saturday. And they can't afford to give those up. They've got to take them. So, yeah, dead right. Certainly room for improvement.
Right. Any other thoughts on the Romania game? It was a whitewash. The 0 on the side of Romania, very good after the only the penalty conceded against Scotland. So good defensive work by the Springboks, even if it is against a lower tier nation.
Yeah.
Okay. Right,
Yeah,
so moving on.
It would have
been... Go for it, Ken.
Yeah, in a game like so easily, it would have been easy for the Springboks to become a bit loose, to become a bit, lose a bit of concentration. But the defense is really at this World Cup so far.
Okay, Ken, we lost you a little bit there. We're just going to pause.
Can you hear me?
Oh, you're back. Yes. Okay. So just repeat your statement there.
Your point about defense. Yeah.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think the Springbok defense certainly seems to have gone up a level at the World Cup, which is very pleasing and obviously absolutely vital as we start to face the big guns.
Right. Moving on to our next slide. So we've had the team sheet, the team photo, and it looks like the Springboks will be playing in their more traditional white away kit instead of the checker 60-60, the turquoise or teal. I don't know what you call that. Your thoughts, gentlemen? Because I saw a promo photo today that showed the teal kit with the island green, and that definitely won't fly as an away kit or that's definitely going to clash.
So this kit looks closer to the 2019 kit. That's why I've put these two kind of kits side by side. It's something far more bearable for South African fans, and I think also I know, Ken, you've mentioned that you would have preferred to have the shorts as a dark green as opposed to these teal, but yeah, is this not the kit that they should have gone with in the first instance?
And while we wait for Ken's answer, I'm just going to pause the recording and we'll be back in a second. I also need to take a break. Okay. Right, and we're back. So talking about the kit, so we were saying that the pants, the shorts should have been a different color and not the teal. So that teal jersey, yeah.
No, carry on. Entered last week, so I don't want to remember.
And we're back. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome back. Welcome back to this
David.
One World Sports Radio broadcast of the South Africa Ireland game, a bumper clash. Just 4 points separating these two sides. And we'll bring you the second half in just a moment. This game is all about small margins. It's going to come down to how the substitutes respond, how Ireland are able to manage their game going into this second half. It's such a crucial, probably 20 to 30 minutes. You probably say the whole second half is vital for both sides to try and claw their way back in. Last 10, 15 minutes, you are almost certain of a cracker if this game isn't shifted straight after halftime. It's a game in which South Africa could so nearly be ahead. The same for Ireland. Don't forget, you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook. We're on Twitter at OneWorldSR, patreon.com/OneWorldSR if you'd like to support us, as well as admin at onewsr.com if you'd like to advertise with us. We'll be happy to read out your product or service on our broadcasts. You could be sponsoring Rugby World Cup, courtesy of One World Sports Radio. So they return to the field. And Otto, what's the remedy for the Springboks to gain the ascendancy in this game?
Finish off attacking moves.
Simple,
Yeah.
concise, precise. Marnie Loebscher saying he's put a lot of money on Ireland there. He's a brave man.
Yeah.
To put that amount on one side or the other. It could so easily go one direction or the other. These two sides, there's no accident why they are 1 and 2 in the world. And probably my nerves ahead of the New Zealand game were far more at a... I was much closer to being stressed out in that game than I was at the start of this one, because I knew that anything could happen in this game. But the Springboks dominating the first 20, Ireland coming back in the second 20. And Otto Simon says, just finish your entries into the 22. Do something with it. Come away with it. Don't go in there and then come back empty-handed. No changes so far that we can see from either side after halftime. We'll let you know if there is a change. A lot of Irish men getting their cages rattled, huge hits on them, and it's clearly a tactic by the Springboks to come out and show their physical strength with 7 forwards on the bench. Right to left is the Springboks. Underway we go once again. Collected by Bundy Aki inside his own 22. Ibn Etzebeth pushes him back. Right, now Jameson, Gibson Park, having to dig it out the back. Bongi Mrambi picked it up out the back. Then we go to Jasper Visser, straight in the middle of the field. 6 meters out for the Springboks. Bit of a turnover there. Franco Mostert into the attack. And the Springboks will have to deal with an Irish penalty. My question is, what happened there? You allowed the Springboks to play, and now suddenly it's a turnaround because the TMO said something in your ear. Why wait that long? Ireland penalty.
Yeah, that was that was the correct result in the end. But yeah, it's not a great refereeing performance so far. Let's hope the Springboks can take that factor out of the game as Johnny Sexton takes this penalty kick.
Kicks it out over the near side between 10 and 22 of the Springboks. Closer to the 10-meter line. Probably about 8 or 9 meters in. And Jasper Visser dragging 2 men along with him. Good work by
that ball just...
away.
Yeah.
Right. Ireland with the throw. All the way to the back they go. Jameson Gibson Park to Bundy Aki. Hands it off to his center partner in Ringrose. Now kick over the top from Gibson Park. Will this go out? It will go out over the near side touchline. So it'll be a Springbok throw about 15 meters into the... Well, probably about 50 meters out from the Springbok try line. Interesting bit of play there from Faf de Klerk, because we, not quite sure who it is that was going to have that ball, because after the ball's gone out there, Faf de Klerk collecting it, and then throwing it at the Irish opposition player, but I think it was considered a dead ball, to use the cricketing parlance. Who will be the intended recipient? Not Etzebeth, it's Mostert to Faf de Klerk. South Africa running this out from their own try line. Siya brought down 10 meters short. This one, box kick thumped away by Faf de Klerk. Collected comfortably by Mac Hansen. Sends it infield. Maybe a bit of a counter. And it looks like a bit of obstruction there from Ireland. But referee Ben O'Keefe not saying anything. To Sexton, who kicks this into the corner. And Bongi Manami is really upset with the referee not saying anything. I'm not sure what's happened there, but that to me looked like blatant obstruction there on the Springboks by Peter Omani, perhaps?
Yeah, no, it was, like I said, not a great performance by the referee so far. Let's hope that improves. So,
Monambi.
Another line out. Yeah.
Throw inside zone 22. Not convincing by the Springboks, and it'll go out for the Irish to have a throw inside the Springboks 22. When it's your day, you've got to make the most of it.
Yeah, that ball being slapped out of the hands of Eben Etzebeth by Peter O'Mahony, the number 6 of Ireland, and now it's an Irish throw inside the 22 of South Africa.
Kelleher lining up his jumpers. Mostert with the turnover ball. South Africa have it in the hands of Peter Steph Tutoy. No real support from the Springboks initially, but men arriving. The box kick inevitable here as South Africa on 6 meters out from their own try line. Thump it high in the sky. Cheslin Colby looking to chase it down with Mac Hansen. That one's going to go out, and so there'll be a bit of breathing room for the Springboks.
No, it will be an Irish line out just inside the Springbok half. Hard work for the Springboks to get away from their line. Let's hope they can just iron out those little mistakes and go forward with a bit more conviction.
This one finding the jumper. Maul from Ireland. Eben Etzebeth swimming through. Gibson Park gives it to Bondi Aki. Held up just shy of his own, crossing into halfway. Into the hands of Kelleher. Brought down by Kitshoff, who's really looking to try and kill the ball. The Springboks have the ball. Turnover ball. But it's stolen away again by Jamison Gibson Park. It was a fantastic effort there of counter-rucking by Stephen Kitshoff and Siya Kolisi. I'm not sure how they didn't manage to retain that one. James Ryan into contact, and the Springboks have a penalty finally through the hands of Jasper Wiese, holding things up and fortune changing for the men from the African continent.
Yep, so now it's 8 penalties conceded by Ireland to the 4 of South Africa. Oh, excuse me, other way around. 8 penalties conceded by South Africa and 4 by Ireland. And that's what's just killing the rhythm and the momentum of the Springboks at the moment. So let's hope that they can turn that one around
here,
as well.
The Springboks have gone for a kick for the post. I'm not quite sure why that is, why they have not gone for the corner. The Springboks with nearly a 60-meter kick.
And it will be Faf de Klerk with a left boot from the middle of the park, just inside the Springbok half. Woohoo! 56-meter kick here for Faf de Klerk.
I don't want to be the... It is slightly to the left of the uprights. He's thumped it. Has it curled back in? No, falling short. And so South Africa having to put some pressure on. Eben Etzebeth stealing it back. Great work there by the Springbok lock. Is he going to turn the ball over?
Come on now.
He has indeed. Jesse Creel, South Africa knocking on the door of the Irish try line. Faf de Klerk goes to the far side. In Jasper Wiese. Lateral movement there for the Springboks. Again to the far side. Eben Etzebeth held up, literally picked up off his feet and held up there. So the referee is going to say more. And there's a penalty advantage there as Evan Etzebeth was manhandled by the Irish forwards. What a move by the Irish forwards.
Almost snuck in there by Faf de Klerk, that penalty, but yeah. Irish defenders just picking up Evan Etzebeth and holding him up in the air. And nothing that Eben could do there. 4 Irishmen holding him up in the air. And yeah, clever play here by Ireland.
What on earth is James Lowe doing in the backs? Because he's been a fetcher. He's been a man who can lift Eben Etzebeth off his feet. This man is wasted. John Klein coming on the park. Oh boy, the Springboks are bringing everyone on. Ergio Snyman coming on. Kwagga Smith coming
40,
on.
47 minutes and 20 seconds gone. Oxenchair coming on as well. So that's 3 points to South Africa, 7 points to Ireland. With the clock stopped now, or time is on, back on 47 and a half minutes in this third pool match for South Africa.
Trying to keep track of all the substitutions here. But Kwagga Smith backing down at number 8. Kitshoff makes way for Ratsegofaditswe Oxenchair. So a couple of changes there from the Springboks. Still Dion Fourie, Trevor Nyakane, Marco van Staden and Kobus Reinach on the bench. Feed now from Jameson Gibson Park. Great tackle there by Faf de Klerk to slow him down with Steven Kitshoff. Or rather, Pieter-Steph du Toit. No? I'll eventually get there. Penalty advantage for the Springboks. 5 meters out. My apologies for the blunder in the names there. So everybody's not behaving there. 48 minutes gone. The Springboks lead by 4 points. And if there ever was a time for the Springboks to put 7 points on the board or 2, you've got to think now is it.
Oh, it's a test match. You should go for the 3 points, but the Springboks taking the penalty in and converting it into a scrum, hoping that they might get a penalty try here, because that Irish scrum was completely decimated by the replacement Oxenchair there at loose head for the Springboks. So let's see what they can do with this one. As Faf de Klerk has the ball. 5 meters from the Irish line, 15 meters from the far side touchline. Better scrum here by Ireland. Knees on the ground by Ireland. Collapsed scrum, says the referee. And another scrum will be set.
Yeah, it was a huge shove again by the Springboks. I'd love to see another change here. I'd love to see Frans Malherbe come off and bring on Trevor Nyakane. Leave Bongi on for now. These Irish men are certainly feeling the pressure, or to take us to the heart.
Yes,
to the
indeed.
hour mark.
So another scrum here. Springboks better come away with points right now, because this has been happening too often in the match so far. Coming up to the 50th minute. Scrum is set now. And the Springboks rumble it forward. Another advantage there. Controlled at the back by Kwagga Smith. And Mani Libbok sends it wide to Cheslin Colby, who runs the try easily over the line. And that is South Africa's first try of the match.
Great bit of work there by the South Africans in that moment. Cheslin Colby with a try. It all started with scrum dominance. There's a bit of argy-bargy afterwards. Damian Willemse being yanked away by Pieter-Steph du Toit. But it was all there in scrum dominance or to Simon, because they knew that they had the upper hand. And then on top of it, from the follow-up scrum. So 8 points to 7 with the conversion to come. Cheslin Colby earning his 86th point, his 13th try.
Yeah, excellent stuff there by the Springboks. That's much better. And let's see what they can do with this conversion, as Springboks are just assembling off to one side as Mani Libbok lines up this kick now with the right foot. He's about 13 meters in from the near side touchline. and 2 meters or so outside the Irish 22. So the shot clock isn't up, time isn't stopped. I don't know what Ben O'Keefe is doing here, but he's standing in front of Manie
Gio
Libbok.
is having a look. Maybe some obstruction by Damien Willemse in the scoring of that try. I think that's where the conversation's happening.
Right. Just have to make sure that they...
Damien Willemse was... no, all good try. Okay. Deep exhale from all of us with Springbok hearts.
So, Manie Libbok with his second kick of the match. And this one is a conversion, luckily, and not a penalty. So the shot clock running down. 52 minutes played. 8 points to South Africa, 7 points to Ireland. As Libbok now steps forward with the Irish forwards rushing up on him, and he sends it right to the left of the left-hand upright. And it's 8 points to 7, it will remain. South Africa in the lead by 1 point.
Great bit of work there by the Springboks. Manie Libbok finding his intended man. And Cheslin Colby just dancing to get closer for Manie Libbok to try and get an easier conversion. Not to be...
with a kickoff. Collected by Damien Willemse and sent straight back over the far side touchline. No, it's not in touch. 50 meters from the near side touchline. Galen Doris over the halfway line gets heavily tackled just inside the Springbok half. Gibson Park with the pass to Sexton on the short side there, the far side. Sexton with the up and under, and Damien Willemse marks the ball on the far side touchline, about 10 meters, 6 meters inside his own half. Siya Kolisi is off the field as well, we can confirm. So he was replaced by Kwagga Smith, I would imagine.
No, it was
right. Then Damien Willemse sends the free kick down the far side touchline. Sexton sends it back up into the air, and Damien Willemse tries to collect it on his own 10-meter line, which he does. Marco van Staden is indeed on the park, secures the ball there. Faf de Klerk now sends it to the middle of the park to Manie Libbok, who skips over Damian Dalende. Jesse Kriel taking it up to the 10-meter line of the Springboks. Faf de Klerk now to the middle of the field to Oxen Che. In behind to Manie Libbok. In behind once again to Damien Willemse, who steps aside one would-be tackler and sends this grubber kick over the far side touchline. It will be a Irish line-out just outside the Ireland 22. This time it's South Africa playing the territorial game. Damian Dalende very cleverly not collecting that ball, because that would have been a hospital pass, but he made it into a good skip pass to Jesse Kriel there. So as Damien Willemse showed us his twinkle toes, he kicks it over the far side touchline, and Ronan Kelleher for Ireland will have the throw. Was that
if you're
the
wondering
replacement?
why Damien Willemse started,
so it's another Ireland line-out secured. Van der Fleer, yes, indeed. So he managed to find his jumpers there. Ireland have possession 50 meters from the far side touchline. Gibson Park asking for the caterpillar to be set now, and he's going to kick this, but it's charged down by R.G. Snyman, cleaned up by James Lowe, who kicks it to the near side of the park, and there's an offside penalty against South Africa by O'Keefe, Ben O'Keefe, the referee, on the Irish 10-meter line. R.G. Snyman judged to be offside there as he charged down that kick by Gibson Park. So Ireland will have a penalty, and Na Ila Milanzi saying, "Dankie manne, speel." Thank you so much for the support. Charlie Willemse asking for the visuals. We obviously only audio at this point. Sorry about that. We can't bring you the visuals. And Johnny Sexton has the ball in hand on his own 10-meter line. He steps forward and he sends it over the far side touchline. And it will be an Irish line out. Yeah, that was a little bit soon out of the blocks there by R.G. Snyman. And he was judged to be offside. So
yeah, you've got to wait.
Now it is Dan Sheehan with the throw for Ireland on the far side, and he gets it into the hands of Omani. Van der Fleer sends it out to Gibson Park, to Bundy Aki, back to Gibson Park, around to Sexton, inside, forward pass to James Lowe, not picked up once again by the referees. And Gibson Park into the hands of Sexton, hands it off to Kalen Doris, who gets tackled eventually by Mani Libbok. And there's some good counter-rucking by Kwagga Smith, and they get possession back to the Springboks. Do they? No. And the referee says advantage to South Africa there for a knock-on by the Irish in that fight for the ball. 56.5 minutes gone. 8 points to South Africa, 7 points to Ireland. And it's a good disruptive play there by the Springboks to get that possession back. And it'll be a scrum to South Africa somewhere near the halfway line. We'll check that for you in a moment. So let's see if the TMO from New Zealand will start picking up some of these indiscretions by Ireland. It's actually just outside the 22 of South Africa, excuse me, in the middle of the park. So confirmation then that Peter Steph du Toit and Siya Kolisi have been replaced by
Peter Steph is on the field.
It was Jasper Wiese and Siya Kolisi, have been replaced by Kwagga Smith and Marco van Staden, and it's a penalty to Ireland right in front of the posts in the middle of the field, just outside the 22. Scrum penalty to Ireland. And let's see what the referee said, why that penalty was given, collapsing the scrum. And Frans Malherbe singled out as the guilty party there.
Time for a replacement, methinks. Trevor.
So Ireland will most definitely take the 3 points this time. Just his feet just slipped out from under him. Feet slipped back. And it was an easy decision there by the referee. In the end. So 58 minutes played. Sexton with the penalty kick straight in front, just outside the 22. Easy as you like. Let's see what he does with this one.
He's going to hit the crossbar.
And he's looking up at the posts. Taking aim now. Steps forward. And with the right foot sends it sailing over the crossbar. And it's 10 points to Ireland and 8 points to South Africa. Ireland go back into the lead.
Yeah, we said that this game would be a tight one, and it's proving to be that precisely.
Yeah,
2
Mani
points
Libbok
between these two sides.
Yeah, Mani Libbok has the ball for the kickoff. Springboks in this half, right to left. Let's see where this one goes. To the near side, and it will be collected by Tad Byrne. With some Springboks there in attendance. Peter Steph du Toit driving backwards. Disruption of the ball there. Gibson Park has to clean this up because the ball is out. But Ireland managed to scramble possession here. Colby and Faf de Klerk trying to disrupt there, trying to counter-ruck there. But Ireland have it. Bundy Aki sends it out into the towards the middle of the park. They make it a few meters forward to Ireland. Gibson Park is there now, setting up the caterpillar for the box kick. RG Snyman is onside this time, but he can't charge it down. It's going to fall to Damian Willemse on the halfway line. Fights through at least one tackle there. Ball is loose. Faf de Klerk cleans it up, and he makes it to the 10-meter line of Ireland. Now they need support to the Springboks. Peter Steph du Toit is there. Sends it to Marco van Staden, I think. Into the back line it goes. Damien Dalende making it almost back to the 10-meter line of Ireland. Faf de Klerk delaying his pickup there with all of the Irish backline offside. Hopefully that will be a penalty advantage. No, not yet. Mani Libbok now steps inside, hands it to Kurtley Arendse, who gets over the 10-meter line of the Irish. Mani Libbok once again, out the back it goes to Damian Willemse into the back line. Damien Dalende knocks it on, and frustration there for the Springboks. They're just not accurate enough at the moment. And
yeah,
that
you can see
is
the frustration
a
from
scrum
the
to Ireland.
Yeah, Willemse just slamming that ball onto the ground. And that's where you can see his frustration. And I think it's right that the Irish fans are cock-a-hoop, because you can clearly see the way in which the South Africans are mentally being dominated by the Irish. Deep breaths, Damien Willemse. This game is not done by any stretch of the imagination, and it's only 2 points in it. The next score has got to be the one to... If you get double score here, that's the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be
If you
very
get
tough for
double
either
digits,
sides to chase the game.
Right, it looks like Trevor Nyakane is on the park. After that last
Good
scrum,
call.
the Springbok management deciding that Frans Malherbe will have a rest. Just Dion Fourie not yet on the park. Perhaps waiting on the Springbok management to see whether they can get away with Bongi playing the full 80. Huge scrum
One of the
there.
forwards will have to
Collapse.
play the full 80.
Yes. I thought Jasper Wiese was the man to do it. But Ireland getting a penalty advantage from that scrum. Will they scrum again? We wait and see. Dan Sheehan.
Yeah.
This may be fixing some tape.
No, there's a bit of a break in play now. I think it's the water break. David, if you click on the live icon on your feed, does it make any difference or not?
Yes.
Really?
No.
Not.
I can go out and come back in.
Angelique Bidding saying, keep up the good work, guys. Thank you so much for your support. And PYM is an Irish fan that's joining us. Go, lads, he says, with the iron flag and the four-leaf clover there, whatever it's called, shamrock, I think it's called. Thank you so much for your support.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good to have some Irish fans with us.
Dion Fourie on the park. Let's see who he does replace. It looks like Bongi and Bonambi will be replaced. Baird comes on for Omani. So Ryan Baird coming on for Peter Omani. And it looked like as well Rob Henshaw replacing Gary Ringrose. So we'll have to see how this goes. 22 goal dropout for the Springboks. 64 minutes on the clock. Here we go. A flatter one this time. Kobus Reinach on for Jesse Creel. Right, here we go. Kwagga Smith charging up field. Held up just short of halfway line. Faf de Klerk looking to find a very adamant Springboks. Advantage for the Springboks. Offside. Jesse Creel and Dion Fourie really wanted that ball. So an interesting one to have Kobus Reinach replace Jesse Creel. Not who I thought he would be replacing, but perhaps we might see a change in how we go about this one. The yellow light coming again from the Springboks. So far it's been kick for posts with the light, and yet to be incorrect. It looks like 52 meters maybe or two.
Around there, yeah, just inside the Springbok half, in the middle of the park. And looks like that penalty was given for contact with the head, wrapping around the head of Dion Fourie as he went charging in there. So once again, Faf de Klerk with the left boot is going to try this long-range kick. Oof.
Shot clock at 30 seconds. Here we go. And he shanked it to the right-hand side of the uprights.
Yeah, good distance there. Good distance there. 65 and a half minutes gone. But still, South Africa trail by 2 points. And Conor Murray is on the field for Ireland in place of Jameson Gibson Park.
Yeah, solid effort from Gibson Park today. And Conor Murray with 110 caps today, earning his 110th cap. And so just dominance at ruck time is what Ireland would seek. Collected here for South Africa. Here goes Kwagga Smith up to the halfway line. Ireland looked like they might have been sealing off, but man gets out the way. Libbok to Damien Willemse. Finds some space. Brought down by Johnny Sexton. South Africa, perhaps to the blind side. No, they'll go to the near side of the park. John Klein, not afraid of a contact. Here we go. Libok to Dalende. South Africa really changing up their setup. Faf de Klerk into Willemse, who thumps this high into the air, seeking out Kurtley Orense. South Africa getting the penalty advantage because of the knock-on.
Yes.
So it was number 11, James Lowe, who finally is silenced, the man who's been geeing up his men. Jesse Creel on the park. I thought he went off for Kobus Ranach. That's what the
Yeah, that must have been a mistake. Yeah, that must have been a mistake. We'll see who Kobus Ranach replaced in a moment.
Well, is he on the park at all? That's the big question. Because I haven't seen him yet. And Kwagga Smith getting clotheslined by referee Ben O'Keefe.
Handling errors now, 6 to South Africa, 8 to Ireland. Yeah, I don't think that Kobus Ranach is on the park because I can we see Colby? The entire backline is still intact. Kurtley Orense is there. Just check if Colby might have been replaced by Ranach.
I'm not sure why.
Ready for the scrum?
Told us. Nevertheless, scrum going. De Klerk to Dalende. Takes 2 men to bring him down. Good support from the Springboks at breakdown. Creel in support. Here we go. John Klein into the replacement, Finlay Beelum. South Africa go to Oxen Chair on the far side with support by Trevor Nyakane. Slowing things down at Ireland and it looks like a turnover ball. South Africa trying to counteract. Now I almost said Australia, but Ireland having to try and kick that away through James Lowe. But Faf de Klerk looks like he may have chased that down. Great bit of effort there from him. And not giving up for even half a second.
No, it's excellent work there by Conor Murray, the replacement scrum half, it looked like. But yeah, then Faf de Klerk charging down the kick of James Lowe. And it will be an Irish line-out just outside the Ireland 22 on the far side of the park. 68 minutes played, 8 points to 10, Ireland lead, South Africa in Saint-Denis.
Final 12 minutes of this encounter. Collection there for Ireland. Henderson brings it down. Ireland through Josh van der Fleer, round the back. Trying to upset things are the Springboks at the breakdown. Into the pocket to James Lowe, who thumps this away downfield. Collected inside his own 22. Damien Willemse. Here we go. Counter attack. Dances away from one, gets away from the second, and is eventually brought down. Faf de Klerk looking for some quick ball. Marco van Staden, a.k.a. Eskom, going up to the 10-meter line. John Klein. Mahani Libok having to recover that one. Erges Neyman breaking through the defensive line. Gets up all the way to the 22. South Africa now have the opportunity to finally get a second try. Creel out to Peter Steph du Toit, who blunders it on the far side touchline. Final 10 minutes. Otto Simon. 2 opportunities that I can think of.
Damn it!
That have gone a begging there. DMO is going to have a conversation here. What's the result?
Johnny Sexton getting some attention there. And we see also for Ireland, that is Finlay Beelum, which we've mentioned. New Zealand born, I think, player that's playing for Ireland now. Even with a name like Finlay Beelum, he ended up in New Zealand but found his way back to Ireland. Matthew Birchley asking what has happened to the Fox Terrier gentleman. She is calmed down. She's around here somewhere. She just had a drink of water, so she's fine. Don't worry about her.
She's been banished to the ether.
No, she's just getting old. You know, the nerves start jangling when they're that old, these Fox Terriers. Yeah, but if it ain't a Jack Russell, it's just a dog, man. Right. 69 minutes and 20 seconds. It will be a line out to South Africa on the far side of the park with Dion Fourie taking over the hooking duties for South Africa. You take us through this one, David.
Dion Fourie looking for his jumper. He does find John Klein. South Africa with a big maul here. Ox bringing 2 men out of the maul there. It's going sideways towards the touchline. South Africa straightening up. Man going out the outside.
Advantage.
And a penalty advantage for the Springboks. Stag Burn, the guilty man. There's almost inevitably going to be a whistle blow here. Kwagga Smith picks it up. Doesn't go anywhere. Huge counter ruck there by Damian Willemse, but the Springboks have a penalty advantage. Otto
3
Simon,
points now. Come on.
please may we kick for the corner. Can I be that guy and say, can we kick for the corner?
No.
You're looking for 3 points. But it's very
You cocky
wide. That's the
bastards.
concern that I have.
No.
And they've
Oh,
done exactly
okay.
that. Kicked for the corner.
Ah.
Yes. Yeah, it was Tag Burn that was
Oh,
swimming around
no.
the outside.
Oh, well, set up the ball again. That's the plan. Right. Cheslin Colby is still on the field. He's standing on the
So
left
no
wing
Kobus
side.
Reinach
With the,
yet.
no Kobus Reinach yet. So, Dion Fourie with a throw. Under pressure against Ireland. He finds John Klein. Back to Dion Fourie. And this time, the referee says it was was that a skew throw or was it numbers in the line out there? But South Africa have lost possession. It will be an Ireland scrum on the 15-meter line, on the 5 meters out from Ireland's try line. And that is, I've had just about enough of Irish fans going moggy in the stands. But well done to them. South Africa have now lost 2 lineouts to Ireland's 6 lineouts that they've lost.
But it's crucial positioning.
So
that's where South Africa is losing these lineouts.
Even with the set piece dominance, South Africa cannot finish off this Ireland team. Conor Murray with the ball. And now...
Huge scrum here needed from the Springboks.
Indeed. The scrum is set and immediately collapses. Early shove by South Africa, says Ben O'Keefe. And it's a free kick to Ireland. So there you go. We could have been in the lead. Instead, Ireland have a free kick and they get some relief. Let's hope that they don't get too much territory here. They do make it into South Africa's half, but South Africa will have possession. James Lowe with the kick as Johnny Sexton had some treatment done on his foot. Jabin Etzebeth sitting on the sidelines, unable to influence the game anymore, except to stare daggers at everybody on the field. Johnny Sexton is leaving the field. What a legend.
Make a replacement.
I was looking at his stats today. 115 caps, 1,154 points, 21 tries and 184 conversions. Paf de Klerk with the ball, sends it to Manie Libbok. In behind is Kurtley Arendse, who makes it through the line almost. Back inside to Marco van Staden, who makes it to the 10-meter line, gets up and goes again. He wasn't held in the tackle. Now the Springboks set the ruck there. Manie Libbok goes into recycle that ball. RG Snyman back into the hands of Kwagga Smith, who makes it over the Irish 10-meter line. To the far side they go. Oxenchair runs over Conor Murray just about. Paf de Klerk now bringing it back inside. Manie Libbok to Trevor Nyakane, who's tackled behind the advantage line, but Paf de Klerk is there inside the 10-meter line of Ireland, who have a ferocious counter ruck on the go here, but the Springboks managed to get that possession back, and it's knocked on. Ireland kick it downfield where there's nobody at the back, but it's mainly Springboks players chasing back, and it's in the hands of Jesse Kriel, who's now in the middle of the park inside his own 22. Another opportunity lost by the Springboks. Ireland ferocious in that counter ruck. They managed to secure the ball, do Ireland, and now they go to the far side where there's no Springbok defenders, but they've fluffed this move. Have Ireland another forward pass missed there by the referee, and that is the number 15, Hugo Keenan, fighting for his territory there, but that's a ruck set now for Ireland. Going to the far side of the park, they've lost a bit of territory. They're now back onto the 22 of the Springboks. Rumbling forward are Ireland once again. To the middle of the park they go. In behind to Hugo Keenan once again. And the Springbok defense holding up for now. This time tackled behind the advantage line is the Irish prop. Conor Murray to the far side into the hands of the one of the replacement forwards there. Conor Murray into the center for Ted Furlong. And they're now behind the South African 22. Drop kick attempted there by Ireland. And I think it was partially charged down, but the ball rolls over the dead ball line. So that should be a 22 dropout, I think. Let's see
Johnny
what the
Sexton
referee
with his
says.
Oh, it's an advantage to Ireland.
It was number 22 with a drop goal attempt there, Jack Crowley.
Yeah,
And
Damien Linda charging that one down or just getting a fingertip to it. But the referee's given the Irish another penalty. Not quite sure what's going on there.
That's very disappointing by the Springboks. That's a golden opportunity to score some points. Instead, they're now trapped defending their own try line here with 5 minutes left to play. Finally, Andrew Porter leaves the field. He'll be replaced by David Kilcoyne, I think. Yeah, at loosehead for the Irish. And they've really played out of their skins here, Ireland. Very clever, as Ken mentioned in the podcast, very meticulous rugby, very precise. So now Faf de Klerk leaves the field, and it will be Kobus Reinach who takes to the field in his place with 5 minutes left on the clock. Ireland leads South Africa 10 points to 8.
Staring down the barrel are the Springboks. A scrum that you don't have the feed to in your own 5 meters.
Well, it's their own fault. That's really the Springboks have not played to their potential, I would say. Just not being able to finish off their attacking moves has been the biggest problem as far as I'm concerned. Conor Murray with the ball. The referee calling the scrum there, but the forwards, the two front rows, managing to make a complete mess of that. So let's see what the Springboks can do from here with 5 minutes left. Yes.
Yeah, he's just saying to him, don't use your head on the shoulder there.
I see. Okay. Right. What can the Springboks do? They've got 5 minutes to pull this one out of the fire. Ireland have got 5 minutes to hang on. 4.5 minutes now. Conor Murray, as the set is called. And there's a bit of movement in the scrum, and South Africa are penalized for early, just for moving around in the scrum before the ball is put in, not maintaining stability there. And surely now Ireland will go for the 3 points to force South Africa to score a try. So, yes, that is the call.
Have the tap and go. Give Sheehan the ball.
No, Ireland playing test match rugby the way it's supposed to be played. They're taking the 3 as Jay Buiten saying, streaming from the Netherlands. Thank you so much for your support. We do appreciate it. So this is an easy kick here for Jack Crowley, taking over the kicking duties from Johnny Sexton.
Just 8 caps to his name. So very young, 23 years of age.
Playing with Ergis Snyman and John Klein at Munster. And this is an easy 3 points here for Ireland. The only thing that can save South Africa now is the shot clock. 5, 4. No, Crowley slots it through. And Ireland go out to a 5-point lead. 13 points to 8 with 3 minutes left on the clock. And the Irish fans are going insane. I don't think they can believe that they're winning this game. Neither can I. South Africa with a kickoff. 3 minutes left. Mani Libbok with the ball in his hands. Playing right to left, remember. Attempt at a short kickoff there to try and get the ball back, but it's very nicely controlled by Ireland. Conor Murray back to Crowley, who sends it to the far side of the field where Damian Willemse tracks back. and starts the counter-attack. See if he can salvage something here. He makes it, no, that's Manie Libbok, makes it over the 10-meter line of South Africa. Kobus Reinach into the hands of John Klein, it looks like, onto the 10-meter line of Ireland once again. Kobus Reinach digs it out, and it's down the back line it goes. Cheslin Colby has the ball now up to the halfway line. He goes, supported there by South Africans, but Ireland managed to steal it. Bandi Aki gets his hands on the ball and simply rips it out of Colby's possession. Conor Murray now with possession for Ireland. He sends it back to James Lowe with the left foot, going straight down the field, just keeping the Springboks down in their own 22. Now this is Colby, I think, once again, trying to make a counter-attack happen here. He makes it up to the 10-meter line of South Africa. Manages to hang on to the ball this time. Kobus Reinach to Oxenche. Back out to Manie Libbok. Sends it out to Jesse Kriel, who takes contact just inside the half of the Springboks. Advantage to the Springboks. Now, Oxenche out the back to Manie Libbok. Tries to snipe it through there. Popped up to John Klein, who makes it over the halfway line. Quagga Smith is there to try and defend possession for the Springboks. And the referee penalizing Ireland this time for falling off their feet over the ball. Ian Henderson there sealing it off. But 2 minutes, 1 minute left now. 5 points. Manie Libbok with the penalty kick. Now the Springboks are forced to kick the ball over the try line. They cannot go for 3 points. That's not going to help them. Come on, Ireland, says Jeremiah Carew. Thank you so much for listening. Good kick there by Manie Libbok. Sets the Springbok line out about 6-7 meters from the Irish line on the far side of the field. This is it. This is the final play for the Springboks, unless they get another penalty. Sean Strydom saying thanks, guys, for bringing great live commentary. We do appreciate the support. Thank you so much for listening. Matthew Birchley saying very good caliber of commentary. Time for South Africa to score a try. From your lips to God's ears. Dion Fourie has the ball. He is going to throw it into the line-out. He does so now. Pieter-Steph du Toit sets them all. The Springboks are setting them all up nicely here, rumbling it forward. They over the 5-meter line. Ireland are throwing everything they have into this. Springboks edging forward now. 2 meters out, 3 meters out, 1 meter out. The maul is collapsed there. What does the referee say? Was it collapsed by the Springboks or by Ireland? And he's going to say that the Springboks have to concede possession. It is an Irish scrum and the end of the game, and Ireland won by 5. 13 points to 8. That is it. That is done. Oh, what a disappointing performance by the Springboks on attack. They had great defense throughout the game, but just not enough. Matthew Birchley also saying time for a try, and Jeremiah Carew saying Ireland versus South Africa final. Hopefully we get a chance to do that, because now we have to play against France. So frustrating, but well done to Ireland. I mean, they outsmarted us. They just played to their strengths, and excellent execution of an obvious game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeremiah Carew saying Ireland versus South Africa final. So it will be incredible if this does make a repeat, but it was missed opportunities, maybe 50-50 on the refereeing calls, but it was South Africa not taking the opportunities, or when you get into that final 22, you've got to deliver against the world number 1 side. And South Africa, I remember Siya Kolisi knocking it on the try line. There was 2 or 3 opportunities for the Springboks to win that game.
Many.
And they can only
many opportunities
themselves. Yeah. And I think that's where they will kind of look hard ahead of their game against Tonga and building up to presumably that game against France. But it has been an absolute privilege to bring you a game, as always, on One World Sports Radio. Otto Simon, your parting thoughts?
Yeah, well, I really thought that we could. It felt to me like the Springboks were building up to this game, building up in the intensity, but the flaws that we saw against Romania were just amplified here against Ireland, and I'm very disappointed that the Springboks couldn't fix that during the week. Once again, just well done to Ireland. They played smart rugby. They outsmarted us. They really played to their strengths, and they really played, as Ken Borland said in our podcast this week, meticulous rugby. So well done to them. And not good enough by the Springboks. Not good enough at all. If this is how they're going to play against the bigger sides, the best side in the world, number one ranked side at the moment, they're not going to go too far past France, I would say. So,
well,
thank you so much, everybody listening. We really do appreciate all the support we're getting and all the comments coming in. Thank you so much for that. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel. Make sure you switch on the notifications on YouTube and Facebook so that you know when we're going live. And have a good evening or good rest of your day, wherever you are. And thank you so much. Good night.
thank you so much, and good night. Yeah.